days ago, MLB The Show dropped the first gameplay trailer of MLB The Show 22, and we got confirmation that Randy Johnson and Ryan Howard are two new legends in MLB The Show 22. And based on my predictions, these cards could be absolutely game-breaking. What I did today was make card concepts that we could really likely see, so we could get a good idea of how good these cards would actually play inside the game. And finally, to wrap it up, I actually added creative players that the community created in-game, and all I've got to say is that these cards could absolutely be disgusting. So first, let's talk about Ryan Howard. He played in the majors for 12 years, hit over 250 home runs from 2006 and 2011. He also won a World Series in 2008 with the Phillies, and a lot of people wanted him in MLB The Show for the last few years, kind of like how Prince Fielder was before last year. So I'm actually really stoked to see him in the game this year. The thing is with Ryan Howard though, his cards actually be way better than Prince Fielder's. So I think there are at least two types of cards we could see in the game this year in Diamond Dynasty. First, the early game low diamond or high gold. Here I made an impact veteran card, 85 overall from 2008, that I could see being out in the game basically right off the rip. And while this may not be an exact scenario that we see in the game, he should likely get an early game card, kind of like Prince Fielder did to start off last year. But just as a card that could be in this range of gold to low diamond, the low contact, high power would be very fun in Battle Royale and at the very beginning of the year as we're first adding cards to our team. And also, pitchers aren't going to be very strong at the start of the year, so you could get away with using these lower contact players if you have solid PCI placement. And even if not, if you play on all-star veteran difficulty, contact doesn't matter the most, especially in those scenarios because you're facing not as good pitchers. And this card could actually be nasty. These players have always played well. The guys like the Joey Gallows, the Gold Jim Thomes, the Gold David Ortiz, and Ryan Howard could be another one you add to that list of fun names that you see at the start of the year. But also with a little bit more power, because he had some years where he hit for low average but hit 40 plus home runs, so that power would be even better than some of those other guys we see. And now for the beefy boy endgame card for Ryan Howard. This is what I meant of him potentially being better than Prince Fielder's card. This card would be unreal. Maybe wouldn't be as good of the Lou Gehrig's or the Jimmy Fox's at first base, but he would be someone that would be a top consideration, a lot like David Ortiz was this year. Thing is, this one I think is a pretty good guess of what I would expect out of a really good Ryan Howard card. But a couple things to note, he could be a milestone card like this, or he could be an MVP card from this year, because in 2006 he did win an MVP award. However, I found that they made milestone cards overall like this more juiced than, say, the MVP cards or award cards that we got from those years. So Ryan Howard as a 50 home run club milestone card could be really good, and also kind of underrated like that Luis Gonzalez card was this year. He would definitely, no doubt, be unreal versus righties with elite contact and power. Versus lefties, he wouldn't have the same level of contact, but the power would be very close and would still be very good, especially in 2006. But Ryan Howard's always been someone who's gotten on base. He had a good on-base percentage. He did strike out a bit though, so that vision would be a little lower, and obviously wasn't a good fielder, so can't expect that great of defense. It could maybe bump that up to the 70s and make it silver, but this is like a good idea overall what you would expect the card to look like. So I could see this card being like a very fun mid-year first base option that could even carry into the end game. This would at least be a really good bench bat to use versus right-handed pitchers. And if for some reason the DH is in Diamond Dynasty, which is a whole other conversation I can make a video about, this card would be a great use throughout the entirety of the year. I would be stoked to use this, man. So before I quickly talk about Randy Johnson, in case you guys are enjoying this, make sure you hit that thumbs up on the video. It does really help get the videos out there. Hopefully you are enjoying me breaking down these cards. Now let's talk about Randy Johnson and the cards that we could likely see in game. A lot of people have mentioned prior to Randy being in the game is that he would just be a lot like Chris Sale, but better. They both have quirky releases. They throw across their body, high velocity fastballs, a lot of breaking their sliders. However, Randy Johnson would have a lot better attributes. He was one of the best all-time left-handed pitchers, dominant for his entire career, and some of his best seasons even happened while he was older. Been very nice with giving outlier points, so maybe they try to be nice and give Randy outlier as well. So overall, I could see a lot of different types of cards from him. Maybe some silver veteran cards for Battle Royale, maybe a really good endgame 99 overall. You could see a lot out of this type of pitcher, that is for sure. But the first guess I want to talk about is a postseason relief pitcher card. Left-handed relievers don't happen very often in MLB The Show. They don't have many names on the list, so having a legend like Randy Johnson, who has come to the postseason and had good outings as a reliever, would be sick. Thing is, this may not happen because his appearances were usually bounced off of a start. He would start like 2 games in the series, and if they need him for another game, he would come out of the bullpen. So I think it would be cool to get creative and give him a reliever card, something like this. I think these attributes look more like a 99 out. I look at it right now, but again, I feel like you could see like really high attributes out of a left-handed reliever with a little bit more stamina, kind of like how John Smoltz is on his card, but except Randy would be more usable and wanted because he is a lefty. The card we'd really want to see is his really good 99 overall endgame card. And here's the thing, Randy Johnson is one of the best all-time pitchers. His career was unbelievable. He has a ton of milestones you can give him. You can even give him award series because he had multiple Cy Youngs. You could give him a prime signature series. You could do a lot to give him a 99 overall card that could be used in the last part of the game. But that'll likely be determined by when they want to release him, the other pitchers that already exist in the game, and how they want people to use the card. As you guys saw in MLB 21, Pedro Martinez, who's one of the best pitchers of all time, got a pretty mid-low tier 99 overall because the attributes were a little weaker because they used the signature series and based it off his entire career. So I personally would love to see Randy Johnson get a card like this. Spotlights one really dominant season, which could be his season in 2002, where he had a pitching triple crown, so he led the league in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. And this card could be absolutely nuts. Again, you see that pitch mix almost like the other card I mentioned, but you could see them expand, give him 5 pitches, but I could definitely see those first 4 pitches or 3 pitches being a definite. He threw a lot of fastballs. He has a really good slider and also threw a changeup, but also, according to Baseball Savant, he threw a splitter. And with how MLB The Show likes to treat pitchers like his caliber, they could just give him a sinker. Looking at the card though, the hits per 9, the Ks per 9, all these attributes could be this good very realistically. Same with the velocity control and all that. Like for example, he may not have much break on a sinker, and also just based on the pitches, all those pitches are kind of close in speed. He doesn't throw below 80 miles an hour. So it could be something that doesn't actually play as well in game. Pitchers like this aren't as easy to pitch well with, especially since he doesn't have outlier on that 4-seam. But in the counter of that release point, like we were talking about, where he throws across his body, the quirkiness of it is going to make up for that. So while the pitch mix may not be the most dominant, that release point is going to make that slider seem like it moves more. It's going to make that fastball jump out of the hand a bit. So he could be very nasty nonetheless, and I would be very excited to give this card a go. Let's actually hop in game and see how these two players could actually look and play in game. So what I did was I took a created player from the vault. Honestly, the real thing I want to look at are the batting stances and the release points. I really don't care how the player looks. I just wanted to get those things in the game, their height, weight, and all that. So I loaded some created players from the vault. Let's actually check out in game how Randy Johnson could look here. So first of all, man is absolutely massive. But you see this release, look at how far to the side his release point is. That's nuts. And that's going to make that slider he throws seem like it has a lot of movement. And also that away fastball to lefties be very effective, because he's again throwing across the body, so it's gonna be tough to tell what's a fastball and what's a slider. And if they give him really good velo like this, he would be absolutely filthy. I guess the real question of how good the pitches would be the splitter and the changeup. I don't know how much those 2 pitches would add value to him. But you see, him throwing across the body like this could be absolutely nasty with elite attributes out there. Could be someone that absolutely dominates DD as a lefty. But now we're gonna take a look at Ryan Howard. He's gonna be one of those, like, again, tall left-handed bats. He's gonna have a kind of big strike zone, which everyone may not love. And I feel like what's gonna really be good with him is hitting that inside pitch. Those away pitches may not be the best. They're gonna probably have the shift on him. But if you could dial up on an inside fastball, inside breaking ball, I bet he's gonna have nasty power to his pull side. I felt pretty good right there. I want to see him just like piece up a ball. Don't tell me this man's gonna walk me in 4 pitches. You're a coward. I want you to know that. Okay, I'm over it. I'm over it. You know what? Just get me off the game. So yeah, that is it. That is my deep dive looking at Ryan Howard and Randy Johnson and how they could actually look like in game, attribute wise, but also in the game itself. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, and if you aren't subscribed already, make sure you do hit that sub button. This is going to be the place to be for all of the breakdowns and all the information leading up to MLB The Show 22. I'm recovering it all here on the channel. Last month I was a busy man, but we are back at the grind here with all the content, so make sure you're keeping up with all of the socials down below. Would you use these players on your team, or would you pass them for the other players that you are more personally excited to use? I appreciate you all watching, and I will see you all again on the next video. Deuces.